And welcome to another Cardinals Nest. This is the show where we take a look at St. Mary's University athletics, talks to some of the coaches and athletes at St. Mary's and get a take on the season. My name is Dean Beckman, the faculty athletics representative for St. Mary's. My co-host, as always, is our sports information director, Donny Nadeau. And Donny, today, we have a new face on our Cardinals Nest. Lately, we haven't had too many new faces on. We've had a lot of repeat performers, but now we've got Darren Schneider. He is our brand new cross country and track and field coach here at St. Mary's. So, Donny, it's great to have a new face on the program.
Absolutely. And Darren, as we talked a couple of weeks ago, welcome to St. Mary's. We're excited to have you, and actually looking forward to the next half hour, just kind of chatting about your career as a coach and what you expect here at St. Mary's.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I'm excited to be here and excited to be on your program.
So I guess, Darren, the obvious first easy question is, how's it been going so far? I mean, a lot of new things, I'm sure, as you come to St. Mary's for the first time. So you're still learning names and everything and titles and all of that and locations of things. But at least at the outset, how have things been going?
Things have been great. It's been very hectic, a lot of things to do, but it's been very enjoyable, very exciting, to be here and experience new things every day. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the future holds, not only for myself, but for our programs.
Darren, talk a little bit about your coaching career. I know it's lengthy, and just kind of take us back to your start and how you, through all of the turns and twists, ended up here at St. Mary's.
Well, really, I kind of look at myself as a lifelong participant in track and field and cross country. And what I mean by that is that my grandfather on my mother's side was a great track and field athlete, later became a coach. And then my father was a great athlete. He was a 1964 national champion in cross country at the college level. And he later went on to coach and had as good of a coaching career as he did an athletic career. So really, track and field and cross country has been part of my life from day one. And I've been involved in it either directly or indirectly almost every day of my life. And I got my start coaching at the high school level. As soon as I was done with college, I taught and coached in the St. Louis area, St. Louis, Missouri. From there, I went to Oklahoma State University, spent some time there as an assistant coach. I went back to my alma mater, coached with my dad for a year, which was a very good experience. And then after that, I got my first head coaching job at the University of Wisconsin-Platteville. And, when I arrived there, the program was really in pretty bad shape. There weren't a whole lot of kids out for track. They weren't having much success. And in a short amount of time, I think we went from second to last in the conference to being in the top 3 or 4 in the conference and making our mark nationally in track and field. And that caught the attention of UW-Whitewater. And so they asked me to apply for their men's track and field coaching position. And so I always thought Whitewater was kind of a sleeping giant in the WIAC conference and nationally. So I accepted that position, but I really took a step back. We had made a lot of progress with Platteville, but then when I went to Whitewater, I was back down at the bottom of the conference initially. And 3-4 years later, we were second in the nation as the national runner-up and had some great success at Whitewater. I went to Texas A&M Commerce, really had a great experience down there, a Division II school. And from there, Minnesota State Moorhead. And that's where I was most recently before I came to St. Mary's. So some stops along the way, but I feel like this is a place for me and where I need to be, and very excited to be here.
I think one of the impressive things about that resume that you just went over would be the multiple divisions and the different sizes of some of the schools. Now that you're at Division III St. Mary's, what do you like about a Division III? What sort of appealed to coming here to St. Mary's for that D3 MIAC experience?
Well, I think when I look back at my college coaching career, I've spent the most amount of time at Division III institutions. And I really value the Division III experience. I think that Division III is very unique in that there's a true balance that takes place between developing athletes and, having fun, the enjoyment of participating in sports, but then also, having success or winning and having success. If you're coaching young kids in T-ball, having fun is the priority without a doubt. If you're coaching in the NFL, then winning is the priority, But Division III, I think there's a real balance, and I really enjoy that aspect of it. I think those three things are really important, and there's no place I'd rather be. I think this is a great position to be in.
Coach, what do you see right now as your biggest challenge here at St. Mary's? What as you took over the program, knew kind of what you were getting into, what's the biggest challenge for you?
Well, I think in a lot of ways it's a numbers game in track and field and in cross country, and I think one of the priorities is increasing our number of student athletes within our program. I think if we can make progress with bringing more talented student athletes in, I think you'll see this program grow and build and become very successful. I think also, it's an attitude change. If you've been in the middle of the conference or at the bottom of the conference, year in and year out for a long period of time, I think some people kind of expect that that's where you belong. And, I looked in the conference handbook, I looked in the NCAA rules book, and there's nothing that says St. Mary's needs to be in the middle of the conference or at the bottom of the conference. So I think if we can get people to believe that we can be successful and that we can compete for a conference championship or a national championship, then I think we'll see some major leaps and bounds here in the next couple of years.
Well, Dean, one of the problems I had with what Coach said about T-ball and having fun, he coaches sports that you run, and there is no way you can tell me that running is fun. I'm sorry, it just doesn't happen.
And Donny speaks, Donny and I will see each other out running once in a while around the lakes here in town. And yeah, I don't think either one of us looks like we're having too much fun, Darren. But
it's called jogging, Coach. I don't run, I jog.
Well, I tell you what, for cross-country practice today, we're actually going to play tag games. So we do have fun, and we try to make it an enjoyable experience. There is pain involved in cross-country and track, especially as a distance runner. There's no denying that. But we do try to enjoy the sport and enjoy being together and add in some fun moments as well.
Coach, that was a great, actually a perfect lead into to a question I was going to ask. And I've asked it of track coaches, but I'm focusing now on cross country. How do you keep it entertaining? Because really, I mean, cross country, you go out and, in a workout may run, 5-6 miles and you don't do that every day. Talk a little bit about how you train for cross country.
Well, I think that's very true with a lot of coaches and programs that, it's very repetitive and you're doing a lot of the same things day in and day out. And it can get very old very quick. And so I'm a big believer of trying to vary things as much as possible and have a lot of different elements to what we do training wise. And, with that in mind, I try to go to different places with our athletes to run. Sometimes we'll run on the roads and be in town running. I'll take the kids out in vans out onto the country roads, the gravel roads, to run sometimes. You know, we have a great situation with our trails on campus to where, you know, we can go 600-800 meters away from our building here and be out on some of the most beautiful trails, you know, I think in the country. And I think going to different places, varying your workouts from day to day and week to week, I think that keeps it interesting for the athletes. And like today, playing games, you know, just doing something fun once in a while, that keeps them coming back for more. And as the program grows, I think when we experience success, I think that will make the situation that much more enjoyable. And I think people will want to be a part of that.
Darren, I'm curious to know, you brought up the St. Mary's trails specifically for cross country. Had you been here before for a meet at any of your previous institutions, and if not, then what was your first reaction when you got up into the bluffs and kind of took a look at what the trails are like?
You know, I had not been on campus previously. I'd been to Winona one time when I was coaching at Minnesota State Moorhead. We had our conference championship that was hosted by Winona State. So that was really my only experience being here. And when I came here on my interview, I mean, I was just kind of blown away by, you know, the things that this campus has, with a beautiful outdoor track facility, an indoor track, but especially those trails and the bluffs. You know, it's just phenomenal. There are very few campuses around the country that have, you know, 10 to 12 miles of trails, you know, right outside their doorstep. And so, you know, I think that's a big plus for us. And I knew when I stepped on campus and was here for a short amount of time that this was the place for me, and that I could build a successful program here in cross country and track.
Coach, talk a little bit about, you know, you had mentioned that your dad was a coach, and I know from talking to you that you actually ran for your dad. My first question would be, what was that like, having your father as your coach? Because I know from experience coaching my children, it can be very difficult.
You know, it was probably one of the greatest experiences that I've had. You know, I learned a lot during my time, you know, under his guidance. And it was very unique in that he treated me exactly like my teammates. And I don't think that happens very often in a coach, son athlete or daughter athlete situation. And, you know, I appreciated that. You know, I think that was just very unique and very special, and something that I'll always remember and draw from that experience. But he was a great coach, and, you know, just a fantastic time.
And piggybacking on that, the second part of the question then was, how much do you instill today in his coaching philosophies from when he was a coach?
Oh, I think a lot. I think, you know, spending that much time with a person growing up, and then having that person as your coach, and, you know, seeing what worked for him and all the success that he had, I think you incorporate that a lot into what you do. And so that's really a big part of my foundation coaching wise, is the things that he did and the things that he taught me and the things that I experienced, you know, under his guidance. And so I'm definitely part of his coaching tree.
Well, Darren, tell us a little bit about this year's cross-country teams at St. Mary's, the women's and the men's team. You're coaching both. So what have you seen so far?
Well, you know, we're short on numbers, but, you know, it's really a great group to work with. First and foremost, they're just very nice people. And it's a joy to go to practice day in and day out and spend time with them and work with them. And it's a very hardworking group. You know, every day they come to practice and do what's necessary to be successful. And, you know, it's not often that you have all of your athletes that have that same work ethic. And so we're very fortunate. And I think this is a great foundation to build from with our program. I think these kids, are really trendsetters, I guess, for the future for us and what we want to do. And I just see us getting better and better. And I think it's going to be because of them and the way that they train and conduct themselves this year to begin with in our first season together.
Coach, I find it interesting, and I know that, cross country certainly carries over to track and field. And as you had mentioned, your distance runners in track and field really mostly come from cross country. But you have an athlete who's a distance runner in the fall, but then is an All-American javelin thrower in the outdoor track and field season. That's got to be an interesting combination.
That's very unique. That doesn't happen very often. And you're referring to Anna Swanson, and she's one of our top runners in cross country. And she's a captain on our team, a true leader. And during the track season, she runs the 800 meters along with some other events. But her thing, without a doubt, is the javelin, the national runner-up. That's a big accomplishment and something to be very proud of. And I think she's very excited about the coming year and improving upon her performances previously.
Not to stray off of cross country too much, but for somebody like Anna, who first off hates the spotlight, and I know that personally, but how difficult will this year be for her? Because she did set the bar so high. I mean, you can only get one more spot up than second place in the nation. Does that put any added pressure on somebody like her?
I don't think so. I think that she's the type of person that can handle, the situation. I think she can handle what, she's accomplished previously. And from that experience, she'll be fine this year. And I don't see it as being pressure on her. I see it being on pressure, for those other athletes that have to compete against her because of the type of person she is, the type of athlete, that she is, the way she prepares herself. They're the ones that have to worry. I have every confidence in the world that she's going to be great.
Coach, as Donny was asking questions about Anna and you were responding, I was thinking to myself, Coach Schneider really doesn't have any time off because you go right from the fall in cross country to indoor track and field and then right away into outdoor track and field. So you're one of those rare, 3-season coaches, right?
Yep. Yeah. It's a long season, but, it's very enjoyable too. And, cross country, indoor track and outdoor track are all different, in certain ways. So it doesn't get monotonous by any means. And they're all unique and all fun. And, you're working with a wide variety of student athletes with different personalities. And so there's always something new happening. So it's great. And I'm really looking forward to this year and beyond.
Coach, and I'm going to grab the buzzword, but as Dean had mentioned, with 3 seasons, you're coaching literally, 9 months out of the year. Work-life balance. How do you do it? How do you make sure that there's time for you and your family? Because you are coaching, every day we're in school, you have a team that you're coaching.
I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges for a coach in track and field and cross country. There is so much to do, and the season is so long. Is how do you find that balance? And I think, as I've aged and matured, I think I've gotten better at that and realizing what's important and what your priorities are in life. And I think it's important to have other areas in life that you enjoy doing. I think that if you just put all your eggs in one basket with just coaching, I think that can potentially lead to problems, to lead to burnout or whatever you like to term it as. But I think being a well-rounded person, having other interests and realizing, what's important to you, your family, your faith, I think it's workable, and that you can do all the things in life that you want and need to do.
All right, Donnie, any last questions for Darren?
That was the last one I had for Coach.
Darren, hopefully you haven't had a rattlesnake sighting yet up in the bluffs anywhere, huh?
You know what? That was one of my first experiences on campus. I got here for my interview, and it was the night before, and I came out to run on the trails, and it was dusk. And so I was just hoping to get in a quick run. And on one of the little sheds near one of the trailheads, I saw this poster, and I was squinting. I didn't have my glasses. My wife was with me, and I said, "What is this?" And she goes, "That's a snake." I said, "A snake?" She goes, "Yeah, a rattlesnake." And so it had this picture of a rattlesnake and a warning. And once I saw that, I turned around and went running on the outdoor track and stayed out of the trails.
Well, I will say it makes a quick run that much quicker
That's right.
if you see a snake, because you go a whole lot faster.
Yeah,
at least I do.
I think it makes our athletes a lot more skilled and a lot faster, without a doubt.
All right, Darren Schneider, our new head coach for cross country and track and field. Thanks so much for joining us, Darren. It's great to have you here at St. Mary's.
Thanks, Coach.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I enjoyed it.
All right, that's going to do it for this Cardinals Nest. Thanks for watching.